Super Rugby Trans-Tasman Saturday games, two pretty contrasting games. 59-23, the Highlanders over the Tars, a really good win for them. 12-10, Brumbies get the job done over the Canes. What a contrast. We'll go through the two games pretty quickly, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on how things kind of went. The first one, I ain't going to go through all the tries because there's just way too many. Suffice to say, the Highlanders were able to get a lot of reward for their work close range attack from lineouts. That's an area where we know Tony Brown as a coach is really creative and thinks up all these wonderful moves which sometimes pay off. Sometimes their forwards just bust up the guts and cut the Tars guys to bits. I'm trying to think which of these Highlanders tries were from lineouts. The Collins one was from a lineout. The Tompkinson one was from the Waratahs kind of committing too many guys to the breakdown and not being able to get the turnover. So not really that one. De Groot got a try. The first one was from a lineout. The second one was from the Tars mucking up their own lineout on their own 5 metre line. Dixon's one was a Maul lineout. Nadeki got two. I don't think they were from lineouts. Jimenez's one was from a lineout. And Ben Nicholas's one was from a scrum. So close range set piece, the Highlanders were just lethal. And Nadeki has just got X factor that he can kind of cut you to bits from anywhere really. Although to be fair, Maddox did make him look a wee bit silly for his try. He showed some real wheels out on the right wing. Harrison with a nice cutout pass, and Nawani got one as well, where the Highlanders kind of failed to secure a high ball. So both sides punishing each other with their errors in the first half. There's like 6 lead changes in that first half. It's really tit for tat. I haven't written up, but the Tars were kicking some penalties as well. So, you know, it's like 7-0, 7-3, 10-7 to the Tars, 14-10, 17-14 to the Tars, 19-17, 26-20, kind of like that. Absolutely just back and forth for that entire first half. But the second half, it's just all Highlanders in terms of the point scoring anyway. And to be fair, the Highlanders actually missed a few other chances as well. Once they got a certain length of points or a number of points ahead, they just really went a wee bit casual. Like Gregory had one where he got into touch and he could have just passed it to Nadeki probably to go for another try. Nadeki himself was put into touch at one point. But yeah, the Waratahs could not defend close range set piece. They were just absolutely struggling, and the Highlanders were on the other end of the scale very good at executing where the Waratahs were weak, and why not? So yeah, class performances all around from the Highlanders. Jimeno and Harmon especially were really phenomenal. I mean, Harmon got one poach at the back of a ruck where the Waratahs, the ball comes out the back of the ruck. There's just nobody home. Anyway, it's a pretty brutal one for them. As I mentioned, Nadeki's really dangerous. Swinton makes 14 from 14 tackles. Yeah, the Tars line-out struggled a wee bit. Podeki had to go off pretty early, so Robbie Abel had to come on, and they were looking a wee bit disjointed. Remember, the Tars have got 3 props out for this game. And credit to them, their scrum at one point won a penalty where Harrison kicks it from like 50 metres. So it wasn't all doom and gloom, but I think maybe the injuries, the guys pulling out, maybe the travel, I don't know, a bunch of factors, maybe just the Highlanders being just too sharp and too good over the course of that second half meant that, yeah, the Highlanders were just streets ahead. So, yeah, absolutely credit to the Highlanders. Top performance, some really good try scorers. They got that bonus point, which they've been struggling to get. And this result means they're absolutely still in the hunt. They do, though, travel to the Brumbies next week, which, based on this week's performance, could be a bit of a tough ask. But we'll see. The Waratahs will host the Chiefs over in Sydney. The Waratahs can still score points, man. Every week they get 20-odd points, but they concede 40, 50, 60, and you just can't be doing that, man. So much off kind of first phase ball. But anyway, the next game, which is the Brumbies and the Canes, much different performance. 12-10, 2 tries to 1. Hurricanes clearly went into this one looking for the bonus point win, as everyone needs to do at the top of the log. the way this competition's playing out. But the Brumbies got the first one through Ryan Lonergan. Nobody guarding the right side of the ruck, so he just dotted down 7-0. Cole's got one from a maul, kind of similar to what we saw the Highlanders doing to the Waratahs. The Hurricanes did to the Brumbies, which is what we're maybe not as used to seeing. We think of the Brumbies as a good mauling team. Coles went over, 7 points apiece. Karefi gets yellow carded for a high shot on one of the Brumbies' locks. Would have been red, but he's slipping for days. He's really dropping, and Karefi hits him high. So he gets 10 minutes in the naughty boys chair, and the Hurricanes handle it really well. The yellow card period is messy. There's lots of scrums, lots of scrum resets. They're not looking at a heap of danger, the Canes, so they really managed it well. And the Brumbies equally were pretty poor during the yellow card period, failed to exert any real pressure and were under pressure themselves for a wee bit of it. The Hurricanes switched tack on 36 to actually opt for a penalty. Jordie Barrett kicks it, 10 points to 7. They go in front, and that's just showing the Hurricanes' mindset, which is, well, if these Brumbies are up for it, we're not going to target the bonus point win, but we do need to get the win. You absolutely can't lose it. Half-time, it's pretty close. The Rum meters are close. The position territory is close with the Brumbies edging it. Although the Brumbies have had more turnovers conceded, so a little bit less kind of clinical. That being said, they didn't start off any better in the second half of the Brumbies, because from the kickoff, they absolutely mucked it up and conceded a penalty. Awful kickoff receipt. They looked at 6s and 7s. They just didn't know what the hell they were doing. I think it was Mac Hansen bobbled it, and then somebody else went for it. It was just awful. But then equally bad, Jordie Barrett misses the penalty off the post, mind you, but that's one missed penalty. Then the Brumbies get a penalty of their own. They mistouch, so it's kind of like, who wants to win this game? It was a question you kind of found yourself asking a wee bit. Ikitau got the second try and the final try of the game. Second try for the Brumbies on 52. The game really came alive a wee bit. White's just come on, the halfback. He puts an inside ball. Ikitau manages to beat Ruben Love. He goes over. Why doesn't he go closer to the sticks? I don't know. Nick White kind of tackles him in the end goal area. I think as if to say, bro, you could have made the kick easier for me, because Nick White has to kick it. And sure enough, he misses it. So it's 12 points to 10, very much within penalty goal range for the Canes. Remember, Jordie Barrett's got a huge boot. He can kick him from 60 plus. But the game gets messy. Nobody's really able to go through a successive period of phases, and if they do, it's in midfield. There's not really too much knocking on the door. Finally, the game is broken when the Canes tap it from a penalty. And then they managed to get the ball left to Alex Fidau, who scores a try from like 25 meters out. Boy, does he hit the ball at pace and runs a hell of a line for a big prop. But it was the weirdest situation, because they go back for a knock-on which took place before the Hurricanes even took the tap. It was a weird one. You do not see that happen very often at all. I was sitting here very confused for quite some time as to what was going on. It was a long way to go back, but they went back for it. So it was a Brumbies scrum. So absolutely get out of jail there, the Brumbies. But then on 78 minutes, they give away a penalty on halfway. Ardie Savea immediately points to the sticks. Jordie Barrett loves slotting them from that kind of distance. He pushes it wide. So that's a second one that he's missed. The Brumbies managed to get the ball from there. Basically, they're in their own 22, just outside. A minute left to play. They run down the clock. Wouldn't you know, they concede another bloody penalty. When Ardie Savea, I think, gets over the ball and wins it with like 20 seconds left. This one's a bit closer range, much closer range, but with a bit of an angle. Points to the sticks again. Jordie Barrett to win it at the death, to keep these guys neck and neck with the Blues on top of the Super Rugby Trans-Tasman table. And he pushes it wide. So the Brumbies hang on at the death to win it 12 points to 10. Lucky. I mean, Canes fans, I feel like they're going to be pretty livid at the refs for calling that try dead. But equally, man, you had 2 bloody chances to win it at the death, which Geordie Barrett should be kicking all day long, and he had 1 at the start of the second half. The Canes' tackling percentage is like 80%. They conceded 12 penalties. Their line-out was 10 from 13. There's heaps of other areas to look at as well. You can be angry at the ref, but man, you need to be looking for some goal-kicking boots, eh? The Brumbies' turnovers conceded was 18 by them to the 9 for the Canes. That's bad. They had 12 knock-ons to the Canes 3, so the Brumbies were not clinical in the slightest. Run meters 379 to 334. The Brumbies did edge that area of the game. The Brumbies line-out was 13 from 18, so execution all round. Goal kicking from the Canes, line-out from the Brumbies, handling from the Brumbies, tackling from both sides in the low 80s. Yeah, a lot to be desired about this game, to be fair. There'll be a fair bit of, I guess, unhappy coaching, but the Brumbies will certainly take the win all the way to the bank. It's a bit of a feel-good one for the Aussie teams after, you know, not having the best showing in the competition thus far. So congratulations to the Brumbies. It's a brutal one for the Hurricanes because they were in second. Not anymore. Banks has 74 run meters, 2 clean breaks, 4 defenders beaten. Savia, that's Julian, has 72 run meters and 5 defenders beaten. I feel like that was mostly pretty early, to be fair. Yeah, they weren't able to generate much in the way of clean breaks. I think the Canes only had the 2, and that's Savia's 2. Brumbies' defence was holding pretty strong despite the relatively low tackle percentage. That leaves the Blues in first on 19. The Highlanders are in second on 18. And the Crusaders are in third also on 18 points. But they have a 9-point worse points differential than the Highlanders. So the Highlanders did the right thing by absolutely piling on the points today against the Waratahs. It's put them a wee bit in the driver's seat. Hurricanes are on 16 and the Chiefs are on 10, but they've got a game in hand. The Hurricanes, yeah, they are at home next week, but they are against the Reds. So their destiny is well out of their own hands now. They need other results to go their way. And the Brumbies are at home to the Highlanders, so they can definitely play spoilers for a second week running to end their campaign at home. It is a real pity the Brumbies didn't get a home game until the second to last game, because they have shown they can win, even if they weren't at 100%. They've shown they can win a game, but only after a 3-game losing streak in New Zealand. So yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts. If you're a Canes fan, that will be a pretty brutal one to watch. Or if you're a Brumbies fan, you must be pretty happy, albeit not perfect. Highlanders, definitely pretty chuffed. You guys are right in the race now. Your destiny is in your own hands, but it's no easy feat next week for you guys. And the Waratahs, well, at least you can score points consistently. Anyway, you guys take care. I'm going to head to bed. Yeah, like the video if you got this far through. It is 12:15, midnight. Hope you guys are all well. Take care of yourselves and subscribe to the channel. Talk to you again soon. See you later. Bye.